How is the food on these trips? Food is not included in the price, and we either do some camping food like barbecue on a frying pan and so on. We carry the whole camping kitchen with us, so we have all the frying pans, barbecue, cutlery and so on, seasoning, olive oil, whatever you will need. So you buy your own food in the supermarket and prepare it with us together on the barbecue or the frying pan. Going to a restaurant is not always an option. In Iceland, for example, the sunset is at 11, so by the time we land and pack our gear, all the restaurants are closed, so we will do our camping food on barbecue. But if restaurants is an option, you go for it. Question: what do I get for my money? It's a good one. Primarily, you will fly with us to places you didn't know existed and you would probably not find on your own, but we will guide you to get there. You will fly to places you would most likely not dare to fly on your own, but being guided and with the group, it's safe and it's okay to do. You will learn skills and gain experience you wouldn't obtain on your own, especially flying back home, doing the same flights all over again. And we very much hope to inspire you for your future adventures, to the next adventures on your own, and encourage you that yes, you're ready to do that. Sure, you will be amazed and frightened. You will be also sleep deprived and cold and hungry, and you will smell bad probably, but it's all absolutely worth it, and it will start a completely new type of flying for you. Question: do you offer group discounts? No. We play fair with everybody. Everybody pays the same price, and that covers our costs, so we can continue with these trips. Question: why are these trips so short? Yeah, I get this question at the beginning, but never at the end of the trip. If we do our job right, then you will not ask for one more day. You will be tired, exhausted, sleep deprived, but full of emotions and amazed of that experience. And at the end of the trip, you will have difficulties to recall what was the first or the second flight, because it will be so condensed with experience and pictures in your mind of the landscapes that you have seen, that seriously we many times have problems just to name the flights we did and to name the places we have flown to. And usually only it happens after the trip, when you browse through your photos in the phone to see, oh, that was it, oh, we did this as well. It will be full of great flights, and it will be more than enough, I guarantee. Question: will I get a refund if I cancel my trip? Yes, we will do our best. So to put it simply, these trips are organized by a non-profit organization, and if you cancel your trip, we will do our best to sell that seat to the next pilot, and we mostly succeed. It depends how long before the trip you cancel. So if we find another one to take your trip, then we are gladly to give you a full refund. We don't keep any of that. But if it's too late before the trip and we are unable to find another pilot to take your seat, we will have to keep your money that you paid to cover our costs. But we will really hope you to make it. Question: is rescue insurance included? Rescue insurance is not included, but it's absolutely necessary. We require all our participants to have a search and rescue insurance. We fly over remote places because those are the cool places. And if something happens, if you have an engine out, we'll do all what we can to come and pick you up and retrieve you. But it may happen that I will not be able to drive there with my van. Then I will call a farmer to pick you up with a SUV or whatever. But if it's not accessible, we will call a helicopter for you. You better have an insurance to pay for the bill, otherwise that would be the most expensive flight of the trip. Still cool though. Search and rescue insurance is mandatory. We can help you around if you don't know, but pretty much every travel insurance does that. Question: sleep in tents or hotels? We need to improvise a lot on these trips, simply because the weather rules. We have pre-selected some spots in each country, but I don't know where we go until we go. So basically we check the weather forecast and we go east or west, depending where the weather forecast is better. This is why we cannot make reservation in advance, and this is why we need to have tents with us. Someplace we go off season, so it's pretty easy to make a reservation for that particular night, and we usually stay in small hotels, bed and breakfast, and so on. Iceland is a special case. There are very little accommodation facilities, and we go there in the high season, so we mostly stay in tents because there is no other option. This gives us a lot of freedom to move where the weather is the best and to maximize the paramotor experience. Yes, we sacrifice a little comfort, but there are no compromises on paramotor adventure. Question: I hate tents. Can I rent my own camper? Yes. Yes, you can. Sure, I understand good sleep and some rest is great. However, I myself, I wouldn't. It's a large part of the whole experience is actually sit around a barbecue and one table and eat together and talk and share the experience of the flight before, or talk about the flight that will come next, or talk about the trips that we will do next time. And if you have your own camper, you will end up doing your emails on your laptop because you have power outlet. You will miss things that are priceless. One of the best part of these trips is the group of amazing people sharing the same things and being full of emotions, and it's just a burst of yeah, stay with us. Can I bring my wife, girlfriend along? Yes, but why would you do that? No, we would be happy to see her, of course, but seriously, it's an amazing trip, but not for those on the ground. We would wake her up very early because we wake up with the sunrise, then we run our engines, not letting her sleep, then we land, and in between the morning flight and the flights in the evening, what we do is hurry up, pack the tents, drive to the next location, fill up the fuel tank, visit the supermarket, and then get ready for the evening flight. Now, which part of that sounds to you that it could be kind of appealing to your girlfriend? If you want to do your girlfriend a favor, come first, participate in our trip, you will learn the country, you will know the places, let her come after the trip and enjoy the trip together. And guide her to the places that you've already seen from the air, and it will be a nice experience for you as well to see it from the ground from a different perspective. You will enjoy it that way, and your wife/girlfriend will enjoy it much better as well. Question: can I join you in my car and fly along? Standard answer is no. And there is a very simple explanation to that. We stick to a group of 8, that's the maximum. Groups larger than that are difficult to manage, difficult to organize, and you may not know why, but trust me, I did a few trips and I know the larger the group, the more complicated it is. I don't want to guide a group larger than 8 people. That's why we don't want others like just on their own and follow. It doesn't work. It's pretty exhausting to kind of organize the 7 participants. It's very exhausting to count the sheep in the air, to make sure that we didn't lose any pilot on the way during that long flights. So we need to stick to group of 8. Thank you for your understanding. Question: I'm not a Scout customer yet. Can I join? Yes, the Scout trips are not exclusive for Scout customers. Only anyone can join, and we had that situation before. Absolutely no problem. However, Scout customers do have priority boarding. So in case we have more people signed up for a certain trip, we will give priority to our customers. I very much hope you understand. Question: can I bring my own paramotor? Yes, of course. You can either bring it by plane, which I would strongly discourage you to do that because it's risky and you may end up not flying on your trip if the airline refuses to take it. You may ship it to the destination by FedEx or whatever. You may ship it to us and we will take it to the destination together with all the others. Or if it's not too far, you can drive your car and your equipment. It's up to you. Most customers, however, choose for the rental option, and some customers even buy a brand new Scout paramotor with the trip together because there's a discount to it. So these are your options. Question: are the rental paramotors insured? If you break it, you will need to cover the damage. However, we try to keep the costs of repairing it as low as possible. Carbon parts are usually repairable, and we do that, so we don't charge the full price of the carbon parts, and we usually repair it on the spot. And of course, we have plenty of spare parts with us. So even if something goes wrong, don't worry, it will not ruin your trip, maybe your ego, but we will get you in the air the next time as soon as possible. Question: can I buy the rental paramotor after the trip? Yes, of course. This is what we do at Scout Paramotors. We sell paramotors. Actually, after every season, we tend to do all the maintenance on the rental paramotors and sell them, and then we build a new set of rental paramotors for the new season. So yes, they are available. Question: if I break the Scout, can you fix it on the spot? Yeah, sure. We will do our maximum effort to get you back in the air. We always carry lots of spare propellers, cages, spars, all the carbon components, stands, and so on. We even have a nice collection of spare parts for the engine in case something goes wrong. So far we never had anyone being grounded for the rest of the trip. Question: are Scout trips suitable for beginners? Yes. Honestly, the worst thing that can happen to a beginner is that you will do a standard beginner mistake on takeoff, you fail the takeoff, and then you stay on the ground and wait for us until we come back after the flight. So really, that's the worst thing that could happen. I will feel very sorry for you missing the beautiful flights, but it's not that dangerous. These trips will definitely push your limits. You will learn a lot of new stuff, but is there a better way to push your limits than being guided by experienced pilots, being surrounded by other pilots that you can learn from and follow them into the unknown? Probably not. Seriously, go for it. Beginners welcome. Question: will you wait for me if I fail my takeoffs? Yes. We have a procedure that works really well, and that is, after everybody's ready, everything is set up, dressed up, gliders laid down, I will do the briefing, and from that moment we have a 30-minute takeoff window. So if you are an experienced pilot confident, wait another 20 minutes on the ground and take off later. If you are a beginner, go for it right now. If you succeed on the first try, then wait for us in the air. If you fail, no problem, you still have maybe 25 minutes left, or 20 or 15. You can do probably 3 or 4 takeoff attempts within this 30-minute takeoff window. So if you're disciplined, you're absolutely safe and sure that you will get in the air on time, and actually you will wait for us. If in that unfortunate situation that you will fail your takeoff attempt and you're super exhausted and you're unable to take off within these 30 minutes, we will not be able to wait for you. I cannot let the whole group of 7 pilots burning fuel in the air. So at that moment we will leave, but you will be safe on the ground and we will come back 2 hours later to meet you. Question: do I need a valid PPG license? It depends on the local regulation in the country that we are visiting, so it's not my decision. In some countries no license is required, in some countries the license is required but nobody really cares about it, and in some countries they really do care, and you need to make sure that you're legal flying there. A great example was New Zealand last year. Yeah, we made sure everybody was legal in the air, so pilot license, insurance, and so on. Depends. Question: any special insurance or license required? Again, the same as with the paramotor pilot license, it depends on the local regulation. When it comes to insurance, probably liability insurance is good, I have one, and the search and rescue insurance is definitely a must, for sure. Question: what skills shall I practice until the trip begins? Actually a good one. If there is one skill that eventually participants of our trips have problems with, then it's the nil wind takeoff early morning in a high elevation mountain valley with a full tank. Seriously, we don't really fly in strong winds because we do cross country, and in a strong wind you don't really get too far. It's rather the nil wind that causes problems, so practice your nil wind takeoffs, practice with a full tank. It may surprise some people that back home they fly with half tank and the full tank feels different. Yeah, that's the thing. Question: I'm not a fit guy. Can I join you? Yes, I mean, as long as you can run with a full tank on your back and take off, you're fine to join us. And again, if you feel tired or exhausted, and if you don't feel like flying today, just stay on the ground. I will feel very sorry for you, but as long as I know you're safe, I'm okay with that. Sure, if you don't feel fit for the flight, stay on the ground. Respect for such decision. Question: how dangerous are these adventures? No, they're not. I mean, they're as dangerous as you make it. So you may have seen a few of our videos flying in Iceland in super narrow canyons, but you don't have to do that. We had Steve from UK, an example of a very smart pilot flying straight over the ridge of the canyon. Smart decision. If you don't feel comfortable flying into the canyon, don't do that. Maintain altitude. Altitude keeps you alive, and stay safe. Sure, these trips are as dangerous or as safe as you make them. We don't fly in dangerous weather. We don't fly in dangerous, super strong conditions. We probably fly at conditions that you wouldn't fly back home, but we still stick to the safe conditions. Maybe it's not beautiful, maybe it's not that enjoyable, but as long as it's flyable, we go for it. But if you dislike it, stay on the ground. If you don't feel comfortable with the conditions, stay on the ground. Respect for this judgment. Question: may I skip a flight if I do not feel like doing it? Yes, of course. We had that a few times. Some people had a bad sleep, or they're just too tired, exhausted. Sleep deprivation might be a thing on these trips, actually. And whoever doesn't feel like flying on that particular occasion, stay on the ground, wait for us. We will really appreciate you preparing the breakfast when we land, or coffee. No, just joking. Seriously, no pressure. You're there to enjoy the trip, so please do so to the fullest. Question: what flying gear do I need to bring? Assuming you would opt for a rental machine, then you only need to bring your glider, your helmet, your radio. If you don't have radio, we will give you one for emergency situations, and we even have some reserve parachutes for the rental machines. Yeah. Oh, don't forget your cameras. My wing is slow. Do I have any chance? Yes. I mean, sure, a faster glider is a better glider for these trips, because our goal is to cover distance, and sometimes there might be a little headwind, and with a slow glider you won't get too far. So surely I wouldn't recommend to do these trips with like a school ENA glider. But anything compared to a roadster is fine. That's okay. And we never left anyone behind. If I knew that someone has a really slow glider, I just ask him to go ahead a little bit earlier. We all have good fun. That's not a problem. Question: do I need my own reserve parachute? For the rental machines, we have reserve parachutes. If you want to bring your own, you're more than welcome. Of course, that's not a problem. Yes, I strongly recommend everyone to have a reserve parachute, for sure. And I strongly recommend not to use it, please. Shall I take the faster or the safer wing for your adventures? The glider choice is your decision, of course. The faster it is, the more distance you can cover, or you arrive to the destination earlier and then you have more time to buzz around and take shots and have some fun. So surely I'm a big fan of fast gliders, but you need to feel safe on that glider. You need to be confident in the air, otherwise you wouldn't enjoy it. So the question is, with which glider would you enjoy those trips better? And that's you to answer this question. Question: do I need my own radio gear? Bring your own helmet. If you have a helmet with built-in radio, perfect. It's always better when the group can communicate, and it's not only about navigation, it's also about sharing the moments and having fun. Hey, look at this waterfall, come and fly again, I want to take a shot of you. So all these conversation is really something that enhances the experience of the flight. Now, if you don't have a radio built in, you will kind of sacrifice this part of the group fun in the air, but to make you safe, I will give you a radio into a pocket. So just in case you have an emergency landing, you land, you grab the radio, turn it on, and I will be flying around and you'll tell me what's your situation, how we could eventually help you or if whether you need extraction and so on. So yes, if you don't have your own radio, you'll get one from us for the emergency situations. Question: why is the Iceland trip so expensive? Yes, true. The Iceland trip is way more expensive than other trips we offer. And there are two reasons for that. First, it's almost twice as long. It's 9 days instead of 5. Best spent 9 days in your life for sure. The second reason is that it's so far away for us. And the most complicated part and expensive part is just to get there with the van trailer fully loaded with gear. It takes me 2 days to Denmark, 2 days on the ferry, and the 5th day is driving all across Iceland to Reykjavik to meet you. So it's 5 days and several thousands of kilometers, and only the ferry ticket is almost 5,000 euros. And the same 5 days to get back home. Beside of these costs, you actually won't spend that much on Iceland because we'll do camping and barbecue food, so the associated costs are not that high. It's a bit more expensive, but it's the best money spent. Ask any of the participants who have been there.